everyone, Big Pauly back for a brand new episode of What Flick Will Pauly Pick. Yes. This week, would you believe 54% of you lovely people decided to scare me witless. Yes, you wanted me to watch American Werewolf in London from John Landis. Oh, just looking at that cover makes me shiver. Brian Glover. Is that Brian Glover? That's Brian Glover, isn't it? And Jenny Agutter. Apparently Rick Mail is in this as well. I think he's in the pub having a few pints. Yes, stick to the road, stay off the moors. I have seen this in parts, probably not entirely. Maybe 25 years ago. Maybe 25 years ago. I certainly haven't seen it since. Or seen a new transfer. It was just like probably an ITV or a BBC broadcast that I originally saw. So it's going to be interesting to see this new 2019 restoration with DTS HD Master Audio scare your pants off. Fantastic. Right, let's get it out of its box and let's put it into the 4K player. So it will upscale it nicely and settle down.
What Flick Will Pauly Pick?
Okay, so the disc is in. Currently got the menu up at the moment. We do have a whole load of new Blu-rays to actually go in the flick bin, so we'll do that afterwards and we'll sort out the voting as well for next week. But let's get into an American Werewolf in London and hope I don't get bitten.
97 blood red moons later. Ow!
Okay, so American Werewolf in London. Do you know what? I think maybe over the years I've mellowed a bit. I didn't find it half as scary as I remember it being. There were a few moments where the old hairs went up on me arm though, and I got goosebumps. But it wasn't a scare the crap out of you like I remember it. Maybe that's a good thing that they shouldn't let youngsters watch horror films. Yes. So American Werewolf in London is written and directed by John Landis and stars David Norton, Jenny Agutter and Griffin Dunn. Also stars a few other extra people as well. Like I said, you've got Brian Glover up there. You've got Rick Mail in a short scene. Frank Oz. I completely forgot that Frank Oz had a scene in it as well. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Basically, the story is about these two blokes, Jack and David, a couple of American youngsters that are backpacking in the UK, and they out on the moors and that, and in north of England, and they stumble upon this old pub called the Slaughtered Lamb. Whatever happened to the White Lion or the Sailor Inn? No, it's the Slaughtered Lamb. Yes. So they go in, get out of the weather, go in for a drink. You get the usual reception when visitors enter a pub. Everybody stops doing what they're doing and they have a drink. You get some really good dialogue in this pub, especially from Brian Glover telling a few jokes. The guys are quickly ushered on their way out of the pub, but are told to stick to the road and stay off the moors. Yes. If only they stuck to the road. Yes. On their way to find another hotel or another inn where they can get some food, they unfortunately wander off the road onto the moors. It's weeing it down with raining. They get lost, they don't know where they are, and all of a sudden you hear one of the most chilling noises you've ever heard. Yes, a sound of a werewolf. Now, I completely forgot how haunting that werewolf scream was. It's kind of iconic. It's like the T-Rex in Jurassic Park. It gets your attention, that's for sure. And as I thought, as the sound being in DTS HD Master Audio, which upscaled it to Neuro X on my system, it was even worse. Yes, you've got breathing behind you. You've got a wolf scream way over in the distance on the left. All of a sudden, over there, and then off to one side of you, some heavy breathing. And yeah, it really gave it atmosphere. Poor old Jack gets attacked. David gets rescued and wakes up 3 days later in a London hospital where he meets nurse Jenny Agutter. She nurses him back to health. They tell him that he was attacked by a madman. He's got scratches and things like that on him. But something's not quite right. He's experiencing weird dreams and hallucinations. One of the scenes that really stands out for me, he's in his house back in America with his family and his brother and sister, and they open the door and there's Nazi monsters. And it's an absolute slaughter. And the good thing about that scene is it's a dream within a dream. You get hit for a second time, which you don't expect. So, as the title suggests, an American werewolf in London. So, yes, David does become a fully fledged werewolf and goes on the prowl in London, noshing up on a couple of people. There's that brilliant scene in the London Underground, Tottenham Court Road station, where there's one lone bloke trying desperately to get home to his loved ones. But David, as the werewolf, has other things in mind. There's also a really good scene towards the end in Trafalgar Square, or Piccadilly, involving car crashes, bodies. There's a great scene in a seedy cinema. I don't know what it's showing, Big Jugs 2 or something. And a couple of cops go in there. There's a really great scene when a cop shines the flash torch and you see the werewolf in all its glory. Throughout the story, David and the nurse, Jenny Agutter, form a relationship, fall in love, and realise that it's the loved one that's actually got to sever the bloodline so that there's no more werewolves. And that scene right at the very end in the alleyway where Jenny Agutter is trying to persuade David as the werewolf that he needs help and that she loves him and that she wants to help him. It's very touching when she says, "I love you," and just an expression on that werewolf's face. It really got me choked up, actually. But yeah, so that's basically it for American Werewolf in London. Really great film. Way better than I remember it. Way less scarier than I remember it as well. Maybe because I was too young. But great storytelling. The locations are great, you know. Wales, I think it's filmed on like the moors of Wales and places like that. And you get the familiar London with Trafalgar Square and Piccadilly Circus. Trafalgar Square had pigeons. I don't remember pigeons being there for yonks. I used to go up there with my brother and my dad and my mum and my granddad. We would feed the pigeons, and unfortunately they got rid of them. I suppose they were a bit of a nuisance, pooing on everyone, but great days feeding pigeons in Trafalgar Square. The acting was brilliant. The film is a lot funnier than I remember it. It's a horror comedy. I don't remember it being that funny, kind of tongue-in-cheek some funny one-liners. I know, you know, you got the odd joke here or there, but yeah, I don't remember it being that funny. So the acting, all of the acting was brilliant. I love the characters in The Slaughtered Lamb, how they all bounce off each other, and some of the expressions. Rick Mayall's expression as he's just sitting there. Typical Rick. And Brian Glover, fantastic. Jenny Agutter was brilliant. I've not seen a lot of stuff that Jenny Agutter's in. David Norton. But yeah, really great. Picture quality was really good, yes. It's 1981, I believe. This came out in 1981. It's a 2019 restoration from the original camera negative, which was supervised by John Landis. So it's right up there. There is a minimal level of grain throughout the film, because obviously it's being filmed only just out of the 70s, in the 80s. It's got that film look to it, but it's really clean, really detailed. You see a lot of detail on the werewolf and on the moors and things like that, so it's a really clean transfer. As I said, the sound is DTS HD Master Audio 5.1, but did upscale it to Neuro X on my system. Great sound. Not a heavy use of the fronts. Dialogue was crisp though. Good use of the surrounds, like I say, on the moors, and especially in London, in the London crash and attack scenes. Really good use. The werewolf scream was absolutely haunting, and really stood out, sometimes echoing from speaker to speaker. And when they were in a thunderstorm, a rainstorm, the thunder, it really felt like the thunder was right above you and the rain was coming down. So really well done, really well put together piece of movie making here. The 2019 restoration and the sound, so they've done a great job restoring this from 1981. There are a whole host of extras. I can't even go into the extras. Look at that lot. I'm going to try and go through some of it at some point, but it's going to take a long time. But it will definitely be worth watching one of the documentaries. Maybe there's a new documentary on here. But yeah, American Werewolf in London. Glad I've got the Arrow limited edition. I'll have a look at the book as well. But it's a really great film. Way better than I remember it to be. But there we've got the Slaughtered Lamb up the top there. Fantastic. As for the effects for the werewolf, don't forget we're talking 80s. The transformation scene in the nurse's flat was actually really good. You can tell where some models come in, and maybe where David Norton was actually half through the floor with a false body. You could kind of tell, but it was really well done, and it does stand up. It really stands up. And also when the werewolf is running through London, really stands up well for a film from, you know, like I say, only just getting into the 80s. Fantastic. So how would I rate American Werewolf in London on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm going to give it 9.5 pointy fangs. Yes. I know, I don't suppose you thought I was going to give it 9.5, but it brought back a lot of memories and renewed my interest in the film. And it is a really great film from John Landis. That's all I can say. And I love it. Okay, so that is American Werewolf in London done. So we shall put that in the pot of ones that are already done. I've actually got quite a few to go in the pot. So let me just show you which ones are going in the pot. We'll give it a bit of a shake and then we'll pick out the next 5. Okay, so look at this lot. So we've got The Hills Have Eyes 2, The Hills Have Eyes, After Midnight and the Battery, Sonic the Hedgehog, Old Boy, After the storm rather, Bloodshot, The Lighthouse, A Beautiful Day in the Neighbourhood, Onward, and Light of My Life. Right, bear with me while I fold that lot up and put them in the pot. Okay, so they are all folded up in the pot. Shall we do a little dance? Okay, it's time to see what will be next week's films. Okay, so it's had a good old shake around. Let's do it. First one out. Oh, first one out, and he's dropped it. First one out is... Oh, blimey, that's a long one. What's it going to be? What's it going to be? What We Do in the Shadows. Again. Fantastic. Oh, right down the bottom. Right down the bottom and under. Get rid of that one. There we go. What's this one? Redcon 1. Nice. Don't think we've had that one before, have we? What's this one then? What are you, fella? Not The Darkest Hour again. Blimey. Right down the bottom, in the corner. What's this one? What are you? Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Brilliant, first time. And we need one more. One more. That one. That one. We don't know what that one is. It's all folded up. The Muppets. Okay, so there's like 6 films, I think, in the box set. So I'd probably have to pick one. Okie dokie. Anyway, they are the picks for next week. So we have What We Do in the Shadows, Redcon 1, Darkest Hour, Pokemon Detective Pikachu, and The Muppets. Okay, now as YouTubers messed about and they've now removed the card option, where I normally say tickle the eye, we can't do it anymore. So in order to vote, you're going to have to vote on my Facebook group. Yes, it's Big Pauly Chatting Movies. If you're not a member, go over, put a request in to join, and I'll stick a poll up on the Facebook group and you'll be able to vote for there. So it's Big Pauly Chatting Movies. Fantastic. So hope you enjoyed this week's What Flick Will Pauly Pick. Like the video by giving it some thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, comment and share. Try not to get eaten by any werewolves, and I shall see you on the next video. Bye!